All right, Shalom. Giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, the Wadi Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai. These are the days, minutes, hours leading to the return of the one who the world calls Jesus Christ. We know that before that, according to prophecy, we're going to have more natural disasters pertaining to Matthew, the 24th chapter, the 7th verse. You can see that with what's going on, what happened in the Philippines and what happened in Venezuela. Big wreckage. And there's going to be more to come. More and more thousands, right? And those are sent by the Heavenly Father. We know that there's going to be more wars amongst the people, across racial lines, across ideological lines, across financial lines. You can hear about that pertaining to 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, the 16th verse. Matthew, the 24th chapter, the 7th verse. World War III. We're going to have more fully culminating to World War III. The different tension between these countries, and the nuclear missiles being shot off. You hear about that in Isaiah, the 34th chapter. Talking about the sword bathed in heaven. Yeah. And also the pushing of the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast. You could read about that in Revelation, the 13th chapter. All these things are getting ready to happen before the return of the one who the world calls Jesus Christ, which his real name is Yahweh Shai. So without further ado, let's get into this. What's going on? So they commemorated the 4th of July yesterday, celebrated the 4th of July yesterday. And what I was noticing, and you brothers could either agree or disagree, that it just didn't seem the same. I almost forgot that the holiday was happening, because usually, you see the flags out, flags on people's cars, flags on people's houses, a month before, in mid-June. You hear fireworks popping off every night, mid-June. And this is like the 07s, 08s. Now you barely even see it. You barely even hear them, and sometimes it was the day after too. Days after, I'm not hearing them. You have big block parties, all the kids out running around, the parents sitting by, barbecuing. It just wasn't that. Major cities across the United States celebrated the country's 250th birthday, but the events faced some big challenges, including extreme heat and thunderstorms. Gates opened at the Salute to America event on National Mall around 5 p.m. Saturday, despite the intense heat. A severe thunderstorm forced an evacuation just a couple hours later. We were told they were closing it down due to the heat. A lot of people were passing out. 4th of July is typically our busiest day of the year, where we run 500 to 600 calls a day. I think we're going to be over 1,000 this weekend, right? So it's a lot of people getting hurt, a lot of people passing away, a lot of people passing out, and it's a lot of people fighting as well. You already know that goes on during these 4th of July events. These they said that was happening in Newport Beach. That was over there beefing with the officers and things like that. It was just a lot going on. So yeah, the Heavenly Father, it's like that. It's like that. Isaiah chapter 19, verse 14, the Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit, right? So the Heavenly Father is causing this place to stagger and err and lose its luster. This is Isaiah chapter 24, verse 7. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. And, this country in general, they're haughty and prideful, super prideful. What's the biggest quote? Proud to be an American. So it's super prideful. So the Heavenly Father is causing things to happen that'll humble it. And really, just the finances, the mental and spiritual well-being of the common person in general is just down. People are lacking happiness, lacking love, lacking will to live, lacking will to do things, broke, hungry, out of shape. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. The new wine mourneth, the new vine languisheth, all the merry hearted do sigh, right? So like I said, 10, 15 years ago, this holiday was, 20 years ago, this holiday was one of the hottest holidays. It was lit. Kids running around, block parties, everything. Like I said, the Heavenly Father is bringing this place down. Not to mention, over in New York, they're talking about this Legionnaire's disease, 14 cases across 2 NYC neighborhoods. So we know that the breakdown is going to happen. But however we see it happening, fever, cough, difficulty breathing, so similar to the COVID or whatever. So however the shutdown happens, we do know that the Heavenly Father is going to make it happen. So let's continue to watch, continue to pray, and Lord's will, we're kept safe from all these different situations that are going on. Just try your best to keep doing what you're supposed to every day. Shalom.